Hey guys, thank you so much for coming over. I'm Tasha, and welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to Tarot, Tarot with Tasha. Tonight we are going to focus on the Emperor and the Hierophant. I'm going to be mostly talking from the Rider Waite-Smith deck. This is the deck, as you know, if you've been following along, that we've been using this whole time. So this is a great beginner deck, and it's so much more than just a beginner deck. I mean, it's incredible. So if you have this deck, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. I'll be using other decks tonight too to show you. So just whatever tarot you have, bring out your deck, pull out your deck, and we'll get started. It's the full moon tonight as I record this. It's October 1st, and I find I've been reading a lot of people's comments online saying how they can really feel this moon, and I totally get that. I'm totally feeling it, feeling super witchy. I'm going to do a little ritual later on, just a quiet, private ritual, just to kind of cleanse myself, cleanse some of my crystals and my altar, and also do some dedication to my ancestors and begin my ancestor work for October. So it feels like a witchy, magical night, and there's nothing I find that can make you feel a little bit extra witchy than tarot. I mean, doing a little talking tarot with your friends on the internet, super fun. Perfect way to start my witchy night on this full moon. So let's get going. Let's get started. And we will talk a little bit about the Emperor. We can kind of walk him up to the front. Sashay, sashay, walk away. The Emperor. The Emperor is the card that when I pull, I think of fathers, I think of older men, I think of people who identify as masculine. I don't know if you just noticed that the lights flickered. Spooky. Love it. This card is kind of I don't know, it's just kind of, to me, it's like the manly man card. It's also what I attribute to what is masculine and what masculinity means to me, and what masculinity means to your court or the person who's getting the reading. It can kind of spring those kinds of questions. This card is very, very linked to Aries with the rams here and that sign. So of course Aries is a fire sign. It's the card. It's another very masculine kind of card, and I'm married to an Aries. They're spicy. They're spicy. They're wild. I think everyone I've dated in my adult life, including my husband, has been an Aries. So I really have a thing for Aries, apparently. Segue. But this card, when it comes up, it could indicate the person's dad or a grandfather or a man in their life. I don't personally associate this card as a male child at all. I always think it's an adult man. If you're even going to associate it with a person, because it could also indicate an aspect of someone's life. It could indicate sometimes I find this card will show up if someone is fighting something, or there's a dispute going on, or they got to make a really big change. This card's kind of digging your heels and being a little bit stubborn and really fighting for what you believe in, and kind of seeing things through. I always look at it the Emperor didn't become the Emperor by being quiet or just being humble. The Emperor gets there through force sometimes. That can also be flipped, and you can make it can seem like someone who is being too forceful, maybe too stubborn, someone who's letting their own ideas get in the way, someone allowing their kind of opinions of themselves and putting too much pressure on themselves to it's holding them back a little bit. it's a card to kind of think about, like, who's the boss? Like, who is the boss in the situation? So if this card came up as a card that you're using to represent the person getting the reading, a querent, this could be a question for them, like, who's the boss in your life? It's time to ask yourself, who is in control? Law, it can be laws and discipline and rules. Like, when you think of kind of that fatherly figure, especially within like pop culture that we've all pretty much grown up with at this point, that fatherly figure who puts the rules and disciplines. So if the Emperor shows up, he could be indicating that, you know, maybe you need a little bit more discipline. I personally interpret this little globe as like knowledge that he's holding. To me, that's what it's always meant. It's just kind of the way it's stuck with me. And a lot of times, if someone is going to school or they want to pursue a different path that's going to require some work or some time, the Emperor's knowledge is kind of there. But so it's like you have to be a little stubborn with yourself. You have to have some discipline. You have to take control, and then you'll get what you want. So sometimes it's like a card for fighting for what you want. It's very fiery. It's very, very red and orange and yellows. And that flows in with the whole Aries thing and the whole fire sign thing. So lots of fire here. So passion and drive, force. Like, this is a very forceful card. It's not a card that I resonate with. It's a card, I think every tarot reader, and I would love to know what cards you struggle with. I think every tarot reader has cards that they just have a hard time with and don't always connect with. The Emperor has always been one of those cards for me. It's never been a card that I have felt like a huge connection to, which is weird. I have a good relationship with my dad. I love my dad. I've had wonderful relationships with men. Really, I mean, some scandalous ones, don't get me wrong, but you know, overall, I've had wonderful experiences with men in my life and male identifying individuals, and yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So I don't know why this card and I kind of we get sticky with each other, but that's the Emperor. So in other tarot decks, we have some different interpretations, but sometimes the same thing. Oops. With this one, this is the Ghost Tarot. I picked it because obviously Halloween month. This Emperor is kind of like a cool dude. He's a cool guy. Like, he's got his sunglasses on. He's lounging. He's pretty relaxed. This Emperor is like, in my mind, he's like ready. Like, if there was a war going on, he is ready to go. This Emperor, he's just a little more chill. He's a little bit more relaxed, but still in power, still has his throne. You have the rams behind him, so that Aries kind of imagery. And then you have a phoenix, at least how I interpret it as a phoenix there in the background. So that fire again. So a lot of the same. Oops, sorry. The laptop's weird. I know I say it every time. I'm never going to get used to this. But it's a lot of that same thing. It's a lot of the same kind of ideas. So it's kind of goes with that. If you can read this tarot deck, you're going to be able to read really any tarot deck. But you can learn on anything. You really can. But that's just kind of, you'll see that as a theme throughout a lot of decks that you come across. Next up is this super cute from the Halloween Tarot, this Emperor. So here we go again. We have the same scepter. Whoops. We have the ball of knowledge in his hand. He's chained up, so that's kind of interesting. Is it that he's chained to his drive? Does he need to break free a little bit? Does he have to let go maybe, or stop being so rigid with himself? And instead of the rams, we have the cats, but we do have the the ram right there. So very, very cool, very cute. There's so many ways you can interpret these little cards. Then we have the Everyday Tarot. No, I'm lying. Sorry. I was thinking about Deborah Blake. That's the Everyday Witch. Sorry. This is the Book of Shadows Tarot, So Below deck by Barbara Moore, who I absolutely adore. Little rhyme for Barbara there. And this deck, I use this a lot for email readings. I just find it's a great deck that communicates to everybody. It's very inclusive. And it spins things around a little bit, and I really, really like that. I like that the Emperor in this card is this like boss lady. You know, is she working from home? And she's got like her calendar super busy. She's got like her kitchen's going. She's cooking in the background with her pot, and all kinds of things are happening here. And she's handling it. She's smiling it. She's smiling. So when you ask yourself, who is the boss? This card is very much kind of asking that. And I think really embodying that kind of question with the Emperor. And of course, the number 4, 2 is a good number because it's a number of stability. It's a very, I don't know, it's a strong number, you know? It's 4, the 4 elements. It's a very, I think, a very, very strong number. And her calendar says October and Halloween circled. So maybe she's going to a Samhain ritual and what she's got going on. So I really like that Emperor card. And then the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is what I was trying to say earlier. Love this. We've got like the Horn God, Priest. This deck is by Barbara. Oh my God, I'm getting everybody mixed up. Tasha, Think Before You Speak, by Deborah Blake. I'm on no sleep. I was up all night last night. It's just been busy and I haven't slept. So we have that strong male presence. I love the inclusion of the dog and the different zodiac signs. Really, really nice. So that is the Emperor. Next up, we have the Hierophant. Tradition. That's what I think of when I see this card. This is a couple of things to me, but one thing it really is traditions and what keeps you in line. So I read an example a billion years ago. This is not my idea. I can't take credit for this, but it's a good one. Where someone said the Hierophant is that invisible force that makes you line up at the supermarket and not jump in line and act like an animal. And that makes sense to me. That's the Hierophant. Religion creates laws and guidelines, which for the most part are good things, I think. And those guidelines kind of keep society in line. Or you can look at laws and how they keep society in line. That to me is what the Hierophant often represents, is getting things in line. It's structure. It's being a good leader. And it's the importance of ritual, the importance of doing things on a regular basis in your life to better it. Whether that's going to church, doing rituals, affirmations, taking 2 minutes out of the day just to breathe, or to go outside, or to pet your dog, or to pet your cat, or, you know, just little things that you do every day that are kind of part of your routine, your rituals. I think this card is that. So if it came up in a reading, it could be interpreted as someone who may need to go back to their roots. They need to go back to their rituals. They need to focus a little bit more on their life and getting some structure and some control. I really see this as a polarizing card to the Devil in a lot of ways, as much as I love the Devil card. This card, it's kind of similar. They have very similar, like their hands are the same, you'll see later. There's pillars, there's 2 people that are looking up, or chained in the case of the devil. So they're very similar cards, but this is kind of like that good control, where the devil can be like chaotic control. So I think chaotic control, we'll talk about it when we get to the devil. But it's keeping things in line. So keeping that force that keeps you from going nuts at the supermarket. It is structure, like I said, and just shared feelings and beliefs. I have my little notes over here because, again, this is not these two cards, the Hierophant and the Emperor. I don't know. I need more structure. This card, I need like to do more daily rituals and get my shit together. So that totally makes sense to me that this is a shadowy card for me. And also just like, you know, past experience and dealing with other, like just people who don't accept you and stuff like that, you know, with organized religion, because I do associate this with organized religion too. So it's just kind of like a little bit of a weird spot for me. There's keys on this card, which are kind of like unlocking the keys to knowledge and mystery and belief. What's under the chest? What's he standing on? Are these the keys to unlock the lovers in the devil? I don't know. Could be. You have the two like monks here, the two worshippers. So this could indicate someone who is being put in a position of leadership. They're being put in a higher elevated position and they have people looking up to them. Or they could be the person that's looking up to them. On the reverse side, this card could be being controlled. Having others control you, being in an unhealthy relationship with God or with religion. It could indicate being manipulated by a group or lied to. We had the pillars, the stability again, structure. And he's nice and seated there between them. So a card of stability. So if you flip it, it's kind of instability too. And it can indicate like just unhealthy relationships with tradition and lineage. Maybe you are acting up in the grocery store and you need more of that invisible force that makes us behave. Maybe you need some more guidance. Maybe you need some form of spiritual revelation, or you have an unhealthy relationship with God. Those are all kind of things that can come brewing up with this one. The Keeper of Tradition. So this is a very, like in other decks, it's called the Pope. And it's obviously a Pope or some kind of Catholic or Christian or, you know, traditional faith leader. He's being looked up upon. He's guiding people. So it can be like tradition. That could be family traditions. That could be a need for someone to go back and learn about their family history, or someone who is kind of the glue that's holding their family together. Could indicate someone who is like playing a really important role in their family right now and are really keeping everybody together. So lots of ways the old Hierophant can go. So let's just take a peek at some other decks, the same ones. So the Ghost Tarot, very popey, very church, leans very, very heavy on that idea of organized religion, tradition, stability, staying in line, group spirituality. He's in a church. Really, really pretty card. I know I did a whole video kind of like not hating on this deck, but the more and more I look at it, the more I'm kind of liking it more. In the Halloween Tarot, we have Anubis with the Hierophant here. So we have a mummy. I love this because I feel like often ancient faiths and like ancient Egypt, you know, which we know is an actual ancient faith, get passed over when we think about traditional faith and religion, but these faiths have been around for a really, really long time and are still happening. So I like that that's included in this card. I obviously love that Anubis is here. Love the kitty, and I think it's cute. I mean, I don't look at the mummy and go, oh, I don't know, maybe a pharaoh or something, or a priest or a scribe would have been, but then I guess it's the Halloween Tarot, Tasha. Like, come on. This is the Book of Shadows, so below Barbara Moore. I'm going to say them right this time. And we have like a lady who's doing, I think, some traditional medicine. She's helping somebody. She's giving some advice. She's pointing to some herbs or some ointments that she has. And she looks really happy to help. Her hands are kind of in a similar position as our good old Rider-Waite. And I think that we have someone who's coming for guidance, similar to our little buddies down here. And she kind of holds those keys. So love that. And then our Everyday Witch by Barbara Moore. I did it. After I said I wasn't going to do it. My God. This is what happens when you don't sleep and then you make videos. Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, who's absolutely lovely. The Hierophant. So we have like a yoga teacher here. She's guiding people maybe in some meditation or relaxation. She has some students, some people that are looking up to her. And it's just, I like this one. It's a little bit more peaceful. It's a little bit less like in your face as this one. Definitely a lot more chill. But the same kind of message of that teacher or guide. So that's enough of me yabbering on and mixing up tarot creators' names and all of that good stuff. But I mean, if you've been hanging around for this long, I don't know if you would expect anything better. Thank you for coming over and spending some time. It was wonderful. Check out my Anthony Bourdain shirt, St. Anthony, rest his soul. And I'm going to go do some kind of witchy things, and I hope that this inspires you to want to continue your tarot journey and getting to know your cards. Thank you for watching. Bye.